All right, here we go. Hello and welcome, everyone, to the Impact to Income Masterclass. I am so excited for tonight's episode. It is Invincible, How to Embrace Failure and Achieve Transformational Success. And tonight, I have some very special friends that have turned their failures into impact. The co-authors of the #1 international bestseller, Invincible, How to Embrace Failure and Achieve Transformative Success. I promise you that, and it's not live. Uh-oh, hold on. It's not showing live on the YouTube. Hold on, let me see if I can. Nope. All right. Hold on. We're going to have to start over. I'm going to.
It says live now.
Yep. Hello and welcome, everyone, to Impact to Income Masterclass. So excited to share with you all today. I've got some amazing things happening for us. Tonight's episode is Invincible, How to Embrace Failure and Achieve Transformative Success. And tonight I have some very special friends that have turned their failures into impact, the co-authors of the #1 bestseller, international bestseller, Invincible, How to Embrace Failure and Achieve Transformative Success. And I'm super excited to be able to interview them today and find out all the amazing things that they're up to and everything that they're doing, and share their amazing stories with you. So what am I sharing? So the importance of impact, the key to being invincible is that we have got to be able to impact other people, to be able to turn our own stories into something that will help and serve others. I've done that in my life, and the women that you are going to meet today have also done that. How can you turn any adversity into a triumph and then help others, right? And so what I've done in my life is I created a process that really helped to turn people's trauma into triumph, into their greatest gift. And tonight we're going to be interviewing the co-authors of Invincible so you can hear real life stories about impact to income. And I'm going to be sharing with you a new breakthrough, revolutionary approach to healing old wounds and trauma that is shifting the consciousness of the planet. And so if you're watching this in the Facebook, you can see that there's a place below. There's a referral link. I'm going to be giving away books at the end of this. I'm going to be giving away signed copy and Kindle versions of our book, Invincible. So share that referral link, and it's going to let me know we have a leaderboard with a contest going on, and it will tell me at the end who has the most clicks from that. And I'm going to give you a special gift, a signed copy of the book. And then everybody that shares is going to get a Kindle version if you don't already have it. There's also a link below where you can buy your book. So even if you get a book gifted from me, you're going to be able to get books from everybody, for all your friends, for your family. They're only 99 cents right now on Google. And so it is or on Amazon. So it's really great for you to go get that for yourself right now. And it's super, super awesome. And so I am super excited to have all of us working together here today to move forward and do some really, really great fun. So why is this important? Why right now, right? 70% of trauma, 70% of adults have experienced trauma. That's a lot. 70%. Can you imagine? And they're saying now that in teenagers, the numbers for teenagers that are experiencing more than one trauma, especially with what's going on with the gun violence and things like that, is nearly 60% for 2 traumatic experiences in their life. That's a lot. And so if we're going to have all this trauma in the world, why don't we turn it into impact? Why don't we turn it into something that helps other people or helps when we learn? But first, you've got to heal it, right? Which is what we're talking about tonight, creating impact and healing it. Then on top of that, did you know that there are 20.9 million people in modern slavery? That means sexual trafficking, human trafficking, any type of trafficking. And everybody thinks it doesn't happen in your backyard. Well, I'll tell you, I live in Orange County, California, and it's one of the highest rates in the United States. And people are like, no, Orange County can't happen there. Let me tell you, it does. And so if you want to think about how you can impact the world, when I decided to go and give back through my business, it was through helping in sexual trafficking. And I've gone to India and Nepal and worked with young kids and women. And that's the kind of things I've gotten to do because I've created impact. And I'll tell you, the women that you're about to meet are just the same. They're creating impact in their own special ways from healing their own shit, right? Like healing their own trauma, having their own failures that they've embraced fully. But to truly shift in the midst of the conscious revolution, we must go beyond helping. We must heal our own selves, and we must create impact by serving others and then giving back through the income that we create in this service. Have any of you felt a shift? Do you know that we are in the midst of a revolution, a sacred and conscious revolution? If you have, I want you to say yes below in the comments. If you know that we're in the midst, or if you don't feel it yet, or if you think that's a bunch of woo-woo, or that we're going backwards instead of forwards, then tell me that too, because I'd really love to have a conversation about this, because I think it's really important for us to all understand. So you're all probably wondering, if you don't know me and you haven't been on my masterclass before, like, well, who the heck are you? Why do we care? So I'm going to give you just a tiny little bit about who I am, if that's okay with you. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to introduce you to my amazing co-authors and let them tell you about themselves. I am an international speaker who's the founder of the Intuitive Intelligence Academy. I am a humanitarian and activist. I have 3 books out, my third one being a #1 international bestseller. I have been on stage with Marianne Williamson. Dr. John DeMartini spoke as keynotes at my conferences. I've done platforms with Lewis Howes. I'm considered to be in the top 1% of all trainers in the world. And I've studied NLP and TCM and ecology of consciousness and quantum physics and neuroscience and meditation and yoga, and traveled all over the world teaching it so that I could help other people heal, because I healed my own trauma. Because just 9 years ago, I was homeless, because I had stuff I hadn't dealt with. But I'm not going to go into that today. If you want to know about my story, you're going to have to join me next week on the masterclass when we come in next week, and I'll share all about my story and what I've been up to. But today, I'm going to share with you the stories of the amazing women from Invincible. So what is Invincible? It is a book, right? It is an internationally best-selling book with stories from 14 amazing women from all over the world that have embraced failure and achieved transformational success. And so I want to welcome all of my amazing ladies, and they're all going to come on here, and I'm going to unmute them, and so we can say hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Be here.
And so these women here are absolutely incredible. They have done some of the most amazing things, but I want to start out with the person all behind this, right? Like the one that started it all in this aspect, and somebody that I got connected to really dearly and close recently, because we both had the same passion for helping with sexual trafficking. And so Dr. J hello, Dr. J, how are you?
How are you?
Great. So the title of her chapter is Awakening, and Dr. J's mission is to be a catalyst for transformation through her work to enhance the overall quality of the tapestry of humanity, one soul at a time. Wow. Welcome. I love the tapestry of humanity. It makes me like, gives me that, like, I feel it, right? Like it's in my bones. Like I love that tactile feeling of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I want you to share, please, a little bit about your vision behind Invincible altogether. What impact do you think that the book was going to have, and what were you hoping for with this vision when you created it?
Well, in essence, the foundation has the vision to help individuals find their voice. And so not everybody is an international speaker like you. They're not oracles, right? So there's other forms of expressive language. And I love writing. And I know that writing is an amazing cathartic healing strategy that one can use. So we decided, let's pull women together and just allow them to have their voice through the expressive art of writing, and let's see what we can create. And this was the end result. This was the second book in a series. The first one also hit #1. The number one aspect of it is just the cherry on the top, really.
Yeah, of course.
The beauty of it is, watching 7 women go from having intrinsic pain and, repressed emotion about things that they perhaps didn't want to share with the world because they were ashamed, they were feeling like it wasn't the right moment, or they just couldn't break through. And then to watch everyone just blossom, including myself, watching us blossom through, the next layer, because I believe that traumas in life is just a journey. It's, you're pulling back the onion peels, and it's layer after layer after layer. But in essence, I saw such beauty coming through a lot of pain. And, we know that there's one universal emotion, and it isn't love, it's pain, so we all have had pain. We can all meet at that connection point. And the reason why I say about the tapestry of humanity is because I do believe that we're interconnected like the fibers, and that if one piece is not there, then it detrimentally affects the overall consciousness of humanity. So that's why I say, we can't lose anyone. We really can't. We can't afford to lose one person. So this was a project of love, just bringing people together, letting them just tell their stories, praying that everybody had the same heart, everyone had the same mind, and everyone could break through their own individual barriers. So for me, mine was about, going deeper, taking a deeper dive into my subconscious mind, because as a trained scientist, of course, I'm more neuroscience based. And so for that reason too, I'm also a great compartmentalist, right? So I can guard and I can deflect like a pro. So I took a deep dive and had to allow myself the opportunity to go deeper. And so I did. And so awakening is all about that. The fact that, when you think you've got the story, there's so much more you don't know.
Oh, yes. So true. Like I just this week was speaking to someone and was like, I swear I thought I had it all, did I already do this stuff? Or isn't there's always more? Like you said, the onion peel, I call it rose petals. I said, I keep pulling off the rose petals. I throw them on the bed so they're pretty, but man, there's more under there. And I keep having to go and dig deeper into that. And so the idea, like you said, of awakening is that it's always a movement forward. It's always striving. We're always going to have that. There's never, I believe, even if you're an enlightened master or an ascended master or whatever, right? That there's the whole point and why you chose to be in this body in this lifetime was for that awakening and movement and the striving and to keep shifting and keep going. And it's going to happen till the day that you die. The only constant is change.
Absolutely. Yeah, we constantly evolve until you're absolutely right, until we leave this planet.
Yeah, until we leave this planet. Absolutely. So how has your ability to be able to open up and start sharing your story and sharing it with others, how has that personally affected you?
I think there's tremendous healing in being able to share your story with others, because then you're validated that, others have the same experiences or worse or better, but there's connection points. Like you said, it's 70%, it's 8 out of 10 people. We're all amongst the individuals that have been scarred, but not everyone's really ready to shed light on it. And so, being able to do that for me was really cathartic, very healing for myself, but also it allowed me to share something that's a tremendous taboo, which is sibling incest, and nobody likes to talk about it because it's even worse than, sex trafficking. And so it allowed me to open up a dialogue that a lot of people do not want. And so God put me in a place where I'm like constantly in people's faces talking about things that they don't want to hear. And so, I think that has impacted because just the proof is in the pudding. I mean, we just draw to the foundation so many survivors from so many different walks of life. It's not just exploitation and trafficking, but, domestic situations or, even corporate situations, just exploitation in general, and how women are finally coming true to themselves and realizing that we don't have to be meek, and we don't have to be ashamed, and we don't have to be in guilt, that we can actually evolve and break through that and create our strength, regain our power differential that's been for centuries embedded in our brains, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so one of the things that that you've done is you've turned your impact into what I call income, into a business, right? Into something that helps other people. How did you decide to do that? Was that something that you knew that this is what you wanted to do, or did it kind of just happen?
The thing, Melissa, I believe, ordained dreams. I've been I opened up multi-million-dollar corporations since the age of 20 through dreaming. I would dream about it and I would create it. This is a different stage in my life. The foundation is altruistic. It's totally humanitarian. There is the resource and the income that we're making funnels right back into the lives of the survivors that we are impacting. So it's not going to my pocket or anyone who's pertaining, who's involved in any of the products here and any of the services here. But it also gives people an understanding that, it's a blessing to be able to be generous.
Yeah.
It is. It's a tremendous blessing to be able to be generous, and having that ability has been such an amazing experience, because it takes off the equation of money. Money have a lot of people have a charge around money. Their money stories can be very negative. And so this has been a way to create an enterprise where it's totally fluid. It's totally creative, and people come in and they just feel at peace. They know this is not about, how much are we making? This is about how many lives are we changing?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's really important to say, because the key is that the money is being filtered, because I also want want to create a philanthropic foundation to leave behind. But one of the things is that when we're creating impact, I think there's such a taboo around saying, oh, you can make money. It's okay to turn your trauma into something that helps others, that also provides you income and also gives you a way to live and have a good life. And then be able to give back, because if you're not taking care of yourself first, you're never going to be able to give back. And so that filtering through is super important. And I think so many people forget that aspect of it, is that that you're in a space where you can finally do that because you have the ability, and it's incredible. But for some of these new people that are starting out, have to let them know it's okay to have a story and find a way to help others and make money at it also.
Absolutely. That's one of the tenets of the foundations. I mean, it's self-sufficiency. When you rescue someone who's been sex trafficked, the number one vulnerability is, relapsing because they can't sustain themselves. They can't meet their basic needs. So we believe that your story is your key to your success, and we create businesses around that for them.
Yeah.
But in terms of the foundation itself, it's altruistic at this point.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jessica, for sharing. I'm gonna ask some other people some questions, and then I'm gonna bring you all to play. So next is Jackie Morey, and the title of her chapter is Rise from the Ashes. It makes me think of a phoenix when you say rise from the ashes. And she's a multiple #1 international best-selling author and a transformational and results coach who believes in the prophetic and supernatural and wants to give her clients the prophetic edge. Oh, I talk about a consecrated process. So I love this, Jackie. Tell me more about prophetic. That's really cool.
Well, thank you, Melissa. I'm so appreciative of you inviting me and all of our other co-authors into this webinar and live broadcast. So thank you, Melissa. Well, prophetic means it's something where I'm not just relying, on my head, my thoughts, my mind, or even my emotions, but I'm actually tapping into a greater power. I'm not sure if the audience believes in, the supernatural or the divine or the universe or God. I personally believe in God. And so I want to tap into his brain because his mind is much, much greater than mine. So I really want to deliver to those who work with me, my clients, the prophetic edge, where it's not just from in and of myself, and it's not just from them and themselves asking the right questions and so on. But I'm actually, I'm actually tapping into a much, much greater, an infinite power that can help them break through, that can help them move forward, that can help them get unstuck, that can help them maybe get an idea, a significant idea, maybe in business or their family or whatever it is that they want to be working on in that session, to moving the needle forward and something that's really game-changing, Melissa.
I love that, Jackie. I also believe in the divine and the divinity, and obviously the name intuitive intelligence just in itself kind of gives that aspect of saying that we work in the conscious collective and the higher self and all of that. So I love the you holding on to your truth and bringing in that prophetic experience. So can you share with us, what kind of impact did you want to create by writing this chapter in the book? What were you hoping to share and get across to people? And, what would you be a part of this?
Well, Melissa, I've had other traumas before, and this one I wanted to bring to the forefront because, like Jessica, some people don't want to talk about this, and that's being hurt by church leadership, being really having heart-wrenching pain that's from church leadership. My husband and I experienced the break of a church split in 2015 that was horrific because we had been in that church community I was there for 15 years, and the relationships were so deep. And when they asked the senior pastor and his wife to resign, it broke up pretty much the whole community. And so the pain of the loss of friendships, the loss of a community, the loss of being together, regularly on a weekly basis, it just completely discombobulated. And so I wanted to bring that to the forefront because not so many people talk about, that there are failures in church communities, and people experience great trauma, from this. So I didn't want to talk about, my other traumas. I want to bring this to the forefront.
And, I love the fact that you're willing to speak out and bring out things about that, because I myself had pulled away from the church at a very young age because of my own traumatic experience. Like, why would God let this happen back then when I didn't really understand these different things? And there's almost this secret society that the church has that holds you, that if you're a part of that and you don't conform, then it's not okay. And for myself, being a gay woman with a gay daughter and different things, I never felt like I fit in. And yet I believe that people need faith to move on, whatever that faith is. I have found a deep spirituality for my faith that's no longer based in a religion, but there are some people that want it based in a religion. And yet even things like when, the stuff with the Catholic Church and all of the pedophilia and stuff, all this stuff started coming out. And it really was a fracturing of the psyche for a lot of people. And so then how do we heal that? Because that is a very traumatic experience. So I love that. How do you believe that sharing your story, how do you believe that is going to impact others? And what are you hoping for them to take away from it?
Well, Melissa, first of all, I want to apologize on behalf of your church community about what happened to you and how traumatic that was, because that is totally not the heart of the Lord. Okay, in answer to your question, how do I want to impact the world with this? Well, with my story, I've been able to already resonate with those who have been hurt by not just church leadership, but yes, I've been able to help those who've been hurt by church leadership, but those who've been hurt by leadership in general, whether it's their boss or whether it's their parental authority or whether it's somebody in school, right? So I've been able to really resonate with them and say, you know what? I may not have experienced exactly what you experienced, but I have been hurt by leadership, and we can empathize, and I can empathize with them and vice versa.
Yeah, that's huge, because it's not just about, it's about the idea of the authoritarian figure, right? The leader, like the father, like right now, the father of our country, the one that's supposed to be leading us, doesn't seem to be doing such a great job. And there's some trauma around that for a lot of people, right? So that's that leadership. So I can see how that all fits in together. How has sharing this piece, how has that affected your life?
It's been really very healing. And I was able to actually share, because some of the people that I've known, friends for decades, Melissa, I'm talking about, okay, for years, when I share my story and what I've gone through as far as how did I get healing from this, right? Because some of them want to stay stuck. Some of them want to stay in bitterness. Some of them want to stay in unforgiveness. And, when they're ready, like Jessica says, some are not ready. But when they're ready, I just share my story and say, this is what my husband and I did in order to get healed and restored. And we feel so much healing. And that's one of the methods called sozo, S-O-Z-O. It's a Greek word, which means to be made whole. It means to be made whole, body, spirit, and soul. So we went through a couple of sozo sessions. And with that, we received the healing that has really brought us through that season so that we could become new wineskin. Because, God is always on the move and he cannot pour new wine into old wineskin. So if people want to remain old wineskin, they get brittle. They get, and new wine is fermenting. So when the fermentation happens, guess what happens to the old wineskin? It just completely bursts. And what happens is the old wineskin is gone and then the wine is spilled. So it's really a matter I want to share about how do we become new wineskin.
Awesome. I love it. You got cards. Fantastic. Good stuff. We need to hashtag that. New wineskin. Great. Thank you so much, Jackie, for your impact. I
Thank you.
Truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate you.
Awesome. And next, I want to speak with Stacy Garland Lederberg. I hope I said that right. Her title of her chapter is How to Become. And Stacy is a teacher, a coach, a counselor that works with kids and families to eat healthy, live healthy, and reduce stress. I think we all need a little bit of that. Eat healthy, live healthy, less stress, right, Stacy?
Absolutely. We can all use a lot less stress in our lives.
Awesome. So can you share with us how to become? What inspired you to write this story, and who do you hope this story impacts?
I was inspired to write this story by Jessica, actually. She is the one who called on me and asked me to share my story. And the idea of this story, however, was born about 20 years ago when I finally got into recovery from my eating disorder. And I decided I wanted to write a book. I wanted to write a book about my experience, how to help people, whatever it was. And I thought of the title, How to Become. And it's been on, in my mind for about 20 years. And when Jessica and I spoke, and I'm like, that's it. This is it. This is my time. This is my way to get my story out there. And so much more has happened to me since 20 years ago. I suffered from depression, from anxiety. A year and a half ago, I got divorced. I am the single mother of an amazing 9-year-old who is sitting here watching and listening. And I wrote my story to help me and be a better mother, to be a better person, to help others, and mostly to allow my daughter to understand where I came from and what I went through, and to help her. She suffers from anxiety and stress, and as many kids do. I work in a high school. I see it all day long, the kids that are stressed. And my goal is to help families and children deal with that through meditation, through yoga, through art, whatever it takes for them to, overcome that anxiety and that stress that we go through every day.
Awesome. So it really sounds to me like you have turned your impact into your mission, right? Like you're had an eating disorder. You want to help kids get have less stress, be healthier, and you had this you had these things with the eating disorders and the other traumas and stuff. That is this something? Is this your mission? Is this what you've turned your business into to help people?
Well, I tried. Okay. Mindful Holistic Health is my current business that I'm trying to get off the ground. And that is, just like what it says, mindful holistic health.
Awesome.
Basically, being healthy in a mindful, holistic way. I know that's kind of using the same thing to describe it, but, and also a business called Mindful Kids, in which writing a program that utilizes yoga, meditation, and art to help kids with stress and anxiety and, deal with everyday life that our kids have to deal with every day. There's so much stress. Daughter screaming in my ear. She's whispering in my ear like FSA testing, They're going through a lot of testing in school.
Oh, you're in Florida. Oh yeah.
In Florida, it's horrible. And, in she's third grade and they're stressing her out. So, and it just, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, So my focus is to help that through using mindfulness and yoga and holistic health practices.
That's awesome, because your impact will be something that's going to really change lives. And my belief is that so many people, when they're building new businesses or trying to do things that create impact, they think they've got to make the income first and then make the impact. But if you start making the impact, the income will come. In that way, it will work towards it. So I love what you're doing, and thank you for sharing and turning your trauma into a triumph and turning it into something that helps other people.
Well, since Jackie had some cards, I'm going to show you what I made for Aiden. When she feels stress at school, she has a stop sign so she knows to breathe.
Oh, I love it.
So she uses this in school when she's feeling a little stressed.
Super fantastic.
And we also have keep calm and breathe on.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like now I'm a part of the whole Jackie culture with the cards. So
wow, super cool.
Those are some of the things that we use to help her deal with her stress. And those are the kinds of things that I want to bring to more than just my daughter, but a lot of kids out there that are going through that.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Melissa. It was wonderful.
All right. And next we have Viviana Malamud. I hope I didn't ask you first. You weren't on to be able to ask if I pronounced it right. So the title of her chapter is We Are All One. And she's an international business entrepreneur, just like me. Awesome. She has multiple degrees in early childhood education, psychology, vocational rehabilitation, counseling, holistic nutrition, specialties in addiction. We got a lot in common. We got a bunch of stuff going on, right? Like I'm amongst some amazing women here. Like, look at all of us. It's so cool. Welcome, Viviana. I would love to know what inspired you to share your story of impact with the world. We don't. You're muted.
Mute me.
Muted.
Mute me.
No, I don't hear you. Hold tight, ladies and gentlemen. We have Viviana coming right up when we figure out how to hear her.
Can you mute me, Melissa?
I didn't. I thought I did. Hold on. Oh, okay. No, Viviana.
Okay, I'll take this off. Can you hear me now?
Nope. Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. Welcome again, Viviana, to the stage.
So, basically, Dr. J, she's the one. She really motivated me and asked me if I wanted to be part of this. So she encouraged me. It's not something that I ever thought I would publish, but just the thought of being able to help others, that was it. That was all I needed. And so I went ahead and I did it. And that's basically it, just the idea of being able to help another soul. That was enough.
A little bit about that soul. Who do you hope this story impacts? Who are you trying to reach with your story?
I believe anybody who could have ever gone through anything similar, have been deceived or have been through any trauma or have felt alone, not loved. in deep pain, anyone could be able to maybe be helped or encouraged or motivated to go on in life. And I believe that's enough, you know. And if it's more than one, then even better.
Oh, absolutely. It will. We know that it will be. And so by creating this impact and helping others through that, how does that fit into, because you've got this amazing, you're a international business entrepreneur. Is your business and the work that you do, is it based in any of the lessons and from the things that you've learned from your own life? Is that how you help others?
Well, I actually have done a lot of the rehabilitation, a lot of the helping others, a lot of the services in the past. And life took me to a different place now. And so I got into the business entrepreneur. And I believe I'm at the process right now. I'm exactly where I need to be. So it's the time where I am kind of putting it all together, you know. That's where I am right now.
You're in the perfect place as an entrepreneur to create impact, right? They are the ones that have the voices. I believe that they are the entrepreneurs are the grassroots of any kind of thing that we want to create. So I can't wait to see what your new entrepreneurial endeavor creates for the world and the impact that you're going to make. Will you promise to share with us when you have that? Maybe we'll bring you back on at some other time and you can share about your impact and what you've decided to do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you. All right. And next up, we have Grace Holden. And Grace is another co-author for the Invincible. Welcome, Grace. How are you?
Thank you. You can hear me good, Melissa?
I can hear you, yes.
Yes.
Can I just say that necklace that you have on is just out of this world. Stunning.
Is it giving life? Is it giving life?
It's giving life, girl.
Yes. That's good. That's good. So thank you, Melissa, for having me.
Thank you for being on. I apologize. I don't have the title of your chapter, so please share it with us and tell us something about yourself that you want everyone to know.
Okay. Well, the title of my chapter is 7 Steps to Forgiveness. So it's not a sexy title, but it is very relevant and prevalent. So my first book was called Dirty, Melissa. And in writing Dirty, Jessica and I actually have a very similar story. And Jessica had a chance to interview me, and I'm a clinician, and I've been a marriage counselor, behavioral health, mental health specialist, all of that, right? But I also wrote a book called Dirty, and it was about 5 traumas. I've been sex trafficked, sexually molested from the age of 11 years old to 15. I was bullied profusely because everybody thought I was just an ugly duckling and everything else underneath the sun, and it was really bad. I was extremely suicidal. I was raped, and I was beaten, and I was stabbed. So there's this big scar here, but I was stabbed in 4 places, kidnapped, held hostage, verbally abused. So it was quite a traumatic experience. But Melissa, guess what I did? I pretended like nothing ever happened. And I pretended like nothing ever happened. So my impact, I'm one of those weird kind of chicks. I'm really bold, audacious, fierce, one of those kick-ass kind of girls, right? But I also was a first lady of a church for 20 years. And I pretended, and I smiled in the faces of people, and it was a facade. And so my impact is the silence ends. And I started with dirty little secrets. And I shared all of my dirty little secrets, the cover-up girl, the never share, never tell, non-transparent. I'm a counselor, so I listen to everybody else, deflect, but didn't do anything for myself. So I knew I needed to make an impact. So.
Oh, absolutely. So I love what you're saying, because if any of anybody that registered for the masterclass, we're doing a special one here, but it says in the very beginning, it talks about 3 costly mistakes that are keeping your clients stuck or you stuck. And the number one that I talk about on my normal masterclass is denying how you feel, or that you have trauma, or that it will just go away with time, right? And we've all been taught to stuff it down and bury it in silence. And that's why we're in this age right now. Why do we have the Me Too revolution and the time is up, and you know, all these people coming forward to speak up and everything? Why right now? Because we're tired of this denial that, you know, and what's happening is by denying our truth, by denying and not being able to heal this stuff, it is costing us everything. It's costing us health, because you physically will get ill, right, from having this stuff stuck in your body. When I would talk with the entrepreneurs that we work with, when we're teaching them how to help their clients heal more trauma and heal their own, if you haven't healed your own trauma, business is going to show up in your business. Like, you don't want to be rejected. You don't want this. You don't, like, you know, all of these crazy things that happen. So, and then they're always like, I was one of these. I was like, I healed that already. It's all good. I'm fine. You know,
it's not true.
And it's not true. And there's so many different ways and different techniques and different things out there. But so many times we think we have done this work, and there's so much more. There's, like Jessica said earlier, another layer of the onion peel or the rose petal, right? There's so much more still underneath there. And that's why I find the intuitive intelligence work so powerful. And I love that you're breaking the silence with the end, you know, in ending that. So how has this story, sharing this story, how has it affected your life, Grace?
Well, it's affected it greatly because in what I do, I help CEOs launch, build, and grow profitable businesses. So I work directly with entrepreneurs at every single level. And when they see me as this confident, strong kind of person. But the reality of it was, yes, I am, but there was so much weakness and there was so many things that was going on. So I started writing little things besides dirty, like fly first, love yourself, and all of that. But I was reading Gandhi. And he had this pretty amazing quote that said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. And I realized that those were just weak cover-ups for me. And I'm sure plenty of you guys can understand this, and that I knew in order for me to really make an impact, all these people who follow me, who watch me, who believe in me, I had to be integral and honest and share. So I started a movement, and the movement is really for men, and it's for the women, but it's for men, and it's called Dads Against the Dirty and the Violence and all of that. But the biggest component of it, and Jessica and I talked about this, is how to forgive and what forgiveness is not. Forgiveness is not laying down, being a doormat, being okay with what has happened to you, and any of those sort of things. Forgiveness is a sign of strength for yourself. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I'm not sure if that's me. So I wanted to talk about the 7 steps to forgiveness. And again, it's not a sexy name, but it is so good. And there's a ceremony at the end of it. And, I know I'm a little wild. Melissa, you need to take me on tour with you somewhere and bring a little spunk. And one thing they said is that, Black chicks, we don't forgive, we shake our head, we do this, we do that. We got a stigma and we don't tell anything. Everything's a secret. And so there's controversy, in the body of my belief and everything. There's a lot of controversy in what I'm sharing. And I decided that, okay, let's get the men involved. So when the men stand up and they take what I believe would be a rightful place in society, and they speak up against these things that most of them were from male masculinity that has happened to us, then when they lead the way, there will be a lot more women following. And that's just what I believe. And it's happened. So it's really more of a national movement. I didn't ask for it. I just decided to tell some dirty little secrets. And
awesome. Grace, I have one of my clients works with men and masculinity. And so I'm going to connect the two of you because I think you guys can do great work together. I love what you're up to. And I think it's incredible because a lot of people are forgetting that in this society where we are today, we have to unite both sides, right? This is about uniting and bringing healing to us as a whole instead of the division of the male and the female and the masculine and the, the patriarchy and the matriarchy and all this stuff. There's such divide. Instead, how do we bring it together to heal? And I love the fact that a woman is doing something for the men and the masculinity. I think that that's going to I just know that that's so powerful. So thank you for your 7 steps to forgiveness and sharing with us all of that. So cool. Did I not tell you all how freaking amazing these women are? Like, listen, they all had trauma. Every single one of them has had some sort of trauma, some sort of failure that they have embraced, and they turned it into transformative success, what I call impact, right? Transformative success. So how many of you out there that are listening, how many of you have had a trauma or pain? How many of you have a story that's similar? I'm telling you, these sound like they're not once in a 100 people stories. These are everyday stories that you're hearing about traumatic experiences but the thing is, what is different about the women in Invincible and many people in the world? They decided to get off of the victim triangle, and they decided to turn their victimization into a victory by creating triumph and creating something amazing from it. Jessica has created a nonprofit organization, and I want you all to know that the proceeds to the book that you can buy below all go to the foundation. So buy a hard copy, not just the Kindle version. And, and I'm going to get you a hard copy, a signed one from me for somebody on this today. But this is why this idea of having trauma, this idea that we need to heal the world, this consciousness is why I created the Intuitive Intelligence program. So Intuitive Intelligence is a process that is transforming the world through healing trauma and through helping us to ascend to have a deeper connection to the collective conscious. And it has 13 different techniques that are uniquely different and open. And so, like one of my trainers, Marcy, said, I've taken many courses to become a better coach, NLP, hypnotherapy, transformational coaching method. And she says, this blows away anything that is out there. It goes deeper than any other program I've taken and really gets to the core challenges for myself and my clients. And so we've used this process. We've had practitioners and therapists and doctors do that. And so I wanted to share with you today about how if you have a trauma, or if you have an impact and you want to come and create something different like these women have, that there's options, there's ways for you to do that. And I'm going to teach you today in the last little bit that we have about the 4 keys to healing trauma with Intuitive Intelligence, so that you can have something that you can take home with us today from Invincible, and so that we can share. So the first one is the ecology consciousness. Ecology of consciousness is the personal, collective, and planetary consciousness, right? So the answers that you seek all lie within you. You have the power. It is not someone else giving it to you. You learn to access it yourself and find the answers through ancient alchemical knowledge, spiritual traditions, and thoughtful theories about consciousness. So it draws on ancient Eastern philosophies, shamanism, and other sources, and covers topics such as personal growth and reincarnation to give you an expansive foundation for self-inquiry and transformation, and using the connection of the scientifically proven ether field, what I call the God field or the divine matrix, as an access portal to healing, manifestation, and creation. Because what I want to tell you is a lot of people say that it's about your subconscious mind or your belief systems or the way that you've got to do things. And I'm telling you, it's not that. Because why does it work for some people and not for everybody? If you're changing your belief systems, if you're using affirmations, if you're doing all that stuff, how is it some people are having it happen and others aren't? Well, it's because of this reason. Number 2 part of Intuitive Intelligence is the heart intelligence and heart science. The heart has a brain on it, and the brain on the heart controls the brain in your head. So everybody that's been talking about use your thoughts and change your mind and change your mindset, I've been going about it wrong. And so in the new conscious revolution, we're going to teach you how to connect through the heart into the conscious collective, heal through the heart using the heart brain, and then heal your actual brain. And then that is where the 3rd part of Intuitive Intelligence comes in, which is the brain science. Because if you're healing at a heart level and through the ecology of the consciousness, you still have to rewire that freaking brain because it's there, right? You still got to rewire it. But because what wires together fires together. So you've patterned things that have been wiring and firing the same for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? So you got to break those wirings. And this is not possible without shifting into the heart and emotion coding. And that will actually shift the brain science and that. So Great, do some NLP, great, do some limiting belief work, great, do some psychological stuff, but this goes much deeper. And then the fourth piece to intuitive intelligence is body love. And what is body love? That's the key to understanding that the body keeps score. Our body holds on to trauma. Our body holds on to all of that stuff that we have been experiencing. And unless you clear it physically out of the body, you will have back pains or leg pains, or, you know, feel like something's wrong with your shoulder, or you end up with cancer, or you end up, right? Like all this stuff. And so what is disease? Disease is actually a disease of the body, right? And it's the unease. And so it's keeping and shifting in that. So I'm so excited that I wanted to share with you this really important information. Come to my masterclass next week, and I'm going to be teaching techniques and going in and sharing about how to do intuitive intelligence work, how to turn your trauma into your greatest gift, and be able to tell you about some of the amazing work that we're doing in the world with this all here before. So I want to find out, let's see who is going to win a signed copy of our book today. Let me go into the space here and see who's on the leaderboard. Who's on the leaderboard? All right, I have on the leaderboard. Oh, well, Grace, you're on the leaderboard. Hey, girl. And Nancy. And let's see who else that's not on the piece. Well, so we have Nanette Nouvelone. Hey, Nanette. Awesome. So Nanette, you're getting a signed copy from me of the Invincible book. And then everybody else on my leaderboard, there's 5 of you, including Grace and Nancy. Well, you already got the book, so you don't need the book. But everybody else that's on there that's not part of the our group, you're all going to get a Kindle version of the book from me. And if you keep sharing, at the end of the month, the person with the most at the leaderboard is also going to get a $100 Amazon gift card. And I'm giving away a huge package of coaching and all sorts of cool stuff. So keep sharing every week. We're doing weekly master classes. I have different people coming on to share. I'm going to be talking and teaching intuitive intelligence. And if you want to, look below. And you can schedule a laser coaching session with me if you want to learn how to use intuitive intelligence in your life from the master, the person that created it. Or if you have a business question or you want to know how to turn your trauma into your greatest gift, then just click the button below and schedule some time with me. It's my gift to you. I charge $1,000 an hour. So if you can get time with me, guaranteed it's worth it. So I want to talk to you because you took the time to come on live today. So that is my gift. Schedule below. And I will be happy to spend some time with you either on your business or on your trauma work or on intuitive intelligence and really share and help you to make it through. And that goes for all of you wonderful co-authors too. Anybody wants to spend some time with me, my gift to all of you. So thank you all so, so very much for joining us and for listening to our incredible Invincible co-authors. If you have any questions, post them below. I'll be reading through them later. And you join us for another session next week on Thursday for the masterclass series, Impact to Income, how you can turn your trauma into your greatest gift. Awesome.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Hey, that's right. Oh, thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Melissa.